Review copy provided by Nintendo. Nintendo, that was just super nice of you. Ziploc bag! I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. Hello, everybody. It is Halloween. It is my birthday, and I've just received the greatest birthday present I could ever receive in my whole entire life, and that is Luigi's Mansion 3. It is a thing. It exists. It happened. They developed it, and I have it here. It is in my life, and I am able to play it, and I am so happy. I'm so happy, you guys. This game is amazing so far. I'm here bringing you my early impressions of the game. I've played for a good chunk of time, and I just want to let you know my early impressions. Guys, this game is so good. This game is so cool. From the very earliest moments of the experience, it grabs you. At least it grabbed me. I've talked about it before. Dark Moon in particular just had so much going for it in the way of just like humor and charm and just awesome animations and just personality, and they have doubled down. They've quadrupled down on that in this game. Just the opening cinematic with Luigi and his friends coming to a hotel looking to have a vacation. It's just, oh my gosh, it's just delightful. The whole cinematic is just amazing. It's beautifully done. And then even just the opening scene, you get to just kind of run around the hotel lobby, just like looking at stuff and talking to people. And I don't know, guys. It's just like, it's this layered, immaculately detailed, beautiful sort of thing. And it just heaps on that personality and that fun and that charm just right off the bat. Really just grabs you. And pretty much immediately you get a feel for this game's amazing visuals. This game, like, it puts other Switch games to shame. It honestly does. This game is like, what is anybody doing? What is anybody anywhere doing? This game looks so good. I don't know, the art style. I mean, it is as I've talked about, the slightly more cartoony style of Dark Moon, but it's seen in HD now. It's so much more, the lighting is so much better, and it's darker, and it can be dingier, and just better textures and stuff. So it's still got this wonderful sort of dark realism to it while still being stylish. And everything looks amazing. The lighting and the reflections are beautiful. So many particle effects, and the animations. Like, every character's animations are so good and so fluid and just so, I'm so exciting. And can you tell? They're just so beautiful. Everything about the game is just gorgeous. You can see the Switch kind of trying to handle the visuals. The resolution stays decently high, but you can kind of tell it like dips down here and there, or it will employ anti-aliasing sometimes. Like, it's kind of choosy about it. In a lot of cases, you'll see the anti-aliasing just kind of drop off. So it's definitely a little more jaggy than I would like overall. But it's pretty easy to forgive when everything looks just this gorgeous. And for the gameplay itself, obviously one of the things that I loved about Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2 the most is treasure collecting. Just walking around. It's like exploration. It's just walking around, interacting with everything you can, and trying to get as much treasure as possible. It's that kind of slow, ponderous sort of thing, just kind of, oh, what does this do? What does that do? And open every single drawer. And I've always loved that, and I think the developers love that too, because wowie zowie, that is like the whole game. It's not the whole game, but like, they have put so much of that here. This is a really large place, obviously, but every room is just jam-packed with stuff, and that includes visual detail, just really well-designed sets. That's a Luigi's Mansion thing at this point, and then just stuff to interact with, just stuff to open and treasure to find. And it's fun too, because this is something I really didn't expect. I've been trying not to watch a lot of the early footage and stuff. One thing I did not expect, stuff. Like loose items, each one with their own physics, kind of just like tumbling everywhere. Stuff on shelves, plates and cups and napkins and spoons, and I don't know why I'm thinking of just kitchen stuff, but anything, tennis balls, whatever, just objects. You can suck them up off of stuff, and they tumble around all over the place. And it's a lot of fun, because then you're sucking them up, and they're just getting destroyed and sucked up into your vacuum. So you're not having to like sift through it all. It's incredibly satisfying, and it's way more fun looking for money and stuff when you're just sucking everything down and making a giant mess. You know, whole couch cushions are getting sucked up into your vacuum and destroyed, and papers going everywhere. It's a ton of fun, and it's amazing that it can handle that many objects. And then for the money itself, wow. Again, they must have really appreciated the good feeling of getting money, because this game gives you like, they've just cranked up the amount of money that you get. They've just multiplied it by 10. You get just in such large numbers. You find these giant stacks of bills, and each one is worth 5, and you don't stop sucking it up. It just keeps coming, and it just flows all over the place. It's really fun and satisfying. It's dumb. It's totally a dumb sort of thing to like that much, but it's like a kid. It's like the childlike feeling. It's just like the Wii. Look at all this money. So yeah, between all the items and all the money, you're just sucking stuff up constantly. Every piece of every room is something. Oh, it's good. And so obviously you've got your 2 primary new mechanics here. You've got Luigi and you've got the plunger shot thingy. And it's, as I said in my previous video, it is amazing how well they fit into Luigi's Mansion. Like, you start using them and it's just second nature all of a sudden. It's just like, yeah, that makes sense. Luigi, of course, just because it's just another version of you, so it's not something like hard to wrap your brain around or anything, but it is a lot of fun. I love taking Luigi places, and you've got the limitation. You can't touch the water. I love how you can have one stuck in an action, like sucking on something, but then you switch over to the other and they'll keep doing it. So I love the puzzle solving applications there. You gotta have a sharp eye to look for like grates and stuff for him to go into. But then the plunger, it's just like, yeah, it just makes sense. Yeah, you shoot a thing and you can just rip stuff down. So naturally, that's, again, for the graphical reason, partially just very satisfying to do. But then it gives you a lot of, makes you feel very capable, makes you feel very in control, that there's just stuff everywhere and you're just like, yeah, man, I can just shoot a suction cup at it and rip it on down. And then, of course, the plunger's got applications in combat. But first, let's start with the basics with combat. Obviously, the new thing here is the ability to, I mean, you know, it's the same as before. You charge up your strobe bulb and you flash the ghosts and you suck them up. But then the difference here is that when your little meter charges up all the way, you start mashing the button and you smack the ghosts all around all over the place. And so far, it is a lot of fun. It's definitely fun. My only thing with it, I mean, obviously I'm not that far in the game. It feels a little overpowered. Like, I don't know, it changes the gameplay, because before, it was like you're sucking up the ghost and you have to kind of move around, and in the case of Dark Moon, you even have to jump in order to avoid the other ghosts in the room that are, you know, hucking stuff at you or whatever. And in this case, like, you start sucking them up, and then when you start the hit thing, your control stick is suddenly controlling which way you smack them, so you're not really moving around anymore, so it's kind of a different dynamic. You're not dodging stuff, but you're not helpless, because you can smack the ghosts into the other ghosts, and that hurts them and incapacitates them, and so it's different. And so far, it's like, yeah, it's almost a little bit too easy. You just smack them all around and destroy them all in an instant, but it is a lot of fun. It's very, very visceral, and it's weird too, because like, you're not even really sucking up the smaller ghosts. You're just killing them. Like, you smack them, and then they don't suck into your vacuum. They just go, bah, just sort of die. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But then, of course, sometimes you'll be able to use your plunger on guys in combat, and this is a lot of fun, too, because it's just, it's sort of an extension of the smack-around thing. You know, some guys will be bigger. You gotta, like, latch on to something that they're holding, and then you can just whip them around all over the place. It's just a lot of fun. It's just an even more satisfying version of that fun, visceral, just sort of smacking around thing. So yeah, combat, I mean, it's Luigi's Mansion. The combat has always been really fun. Just very, very unique. Very just, I don't know what it is about Luigi's Mansion. Flashing ghosts and sucking them up. It's just awesome, and it's awesome again. Awesome for the third time. Big surprise. So going in, just based on what people have been saying, and just like the way that, you know, it's a tall tower and you work your way up the elevator. So I was afraid of it being a little bit too linear, just like floor after floor after floor. But like, so far from where I've been in the game, it has not quite been like that. I mean, it's definitely got its own sort of linear progression to it, but it does not start at 1 and go up from there. You're kind of jumping around floors. You start at 1 and then you go down, you're jumping around, and like there's definitely freedom to it. And this is what's great. And we already knew that they ditched the mission structure, but it's nice to see it in action. You can go to EGAD's base, but you choose when to go there. You walk there yourself when you want to. And whenever you don't want to, you can be exploring any areas that you've opened up. And like, he pops in every once in a while to like remind you of something, or if he wants you to do something, but like, he's not stopping you completely. He's not grabbing you and pulling you back to the base. And it's awesome, because it's still basically the same thing. It's the same kind of base where you go in, it's a little menu and stuff, and he can call you and everything, but you get to do it. You get to do it yourself. And so far, there's been a decent amount of choice of what I want to do and where I want to go explore. Again, naturally, there's a sort of progression to it. You're going to get about the same buttons to go up the elevator in the same order, the same kind of items in the beginning. But there's wiggle room there. There's plenty of wiggle room, enough so that it feels really good so far. I feel like I am somewhat in control, and there are things that I've been like, there've been 2 paths and I end up taking one and it leads me away, and I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I gotta make sure I go back and do that thing. And that's the fun part about it, is like, whenever I really enjoy a game, I like to really drag out the experience. And so I like having to go back and get the stuff that I missed. And in this case, there are gems on every floor, and there have been several by now that I didn't know how to get, or I didn't have the tool to get. I think I've got all the tools now, but I just didn't know how to do. Then I just gotta go back later, or ones that at first I didn't have the tool and now I just need to remember to go back. So there's gonna be plenty incentive to go back to previous floors and comb through them again and see if there was anything that I missed. And I love that. That really, you know, it stretches out the gameplay, and it just gives you more reason to explore and try to figure stuff out, and it's a lot of fun. And I gotta tell you, so far, this game seems pretty meaty. Like, I've already spent a good amount of time with it, and I feel like I have barely scratched the surface. It's like, it's not what I was expecting, you know, starting at 1, and you do it, and then you're done, and you keep going. Like, no, I've been kind of going back and forth, and there's stuff that I've missed, and I've still just got so many floors to go. I haven't even really broken open into the real meat of the game yet, and it's been many hours already, and I think a lot of that is to do with the more slow, ponderous exploration gameplay, which, if that's not your thing, you probably don't have to do nearly as much as I do, but I love it. I savor every detail in every room and find every coin that I possibly can. And so because of that, like, yeah, I feel like this is going to be a pretty meaty game. It really, really meaty. I don't know, maybe I'll finally get bored of trying to find all the money possible and start running through. But at the moment, it seems like this is good. This is good. I can beat the first game in like 5 hours. The second game is probably like 12 or something like that. I cannot see this taking 12 hours. I don't know, maybe things pick up after a while, but feels like more than that to me. Feels so fun. Like, it's the kind of game where you dig into it, and it's not the kind of experience where you just feel it slipping by, and it's great, but man, it really just goes by fast. Like, no, man, I'm digging into this, and it's just feeling big. It just feels like there's so much more to do, and that's always such an exciting feeling when you are really, I mean, it's Luigi's Mansion 3. If there was any game that was gonna give me that good feeling, oh, I'm so happy it's Luigi's Mansion 3. I better wrap this up, though, or I will just gush about how awesome this game is forever. But, like, man, so far, wow, am I enjoying it. I am completely floored by it in so many ways. Oh, and I'm just so excited to keep playing. Bad news, though. I was originally going to do a review for this and Pokemon Sword and Shield naturally in the month of November. You know, I don't get early copies, so they're always going to take me a little while. They're a little bit late, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that doing those reviews would accomplish 2 things. 1, I would rush through the games and not even enjoy them because it's just a very busy time. And 2, that would prevent me from doing a lot of other videos that I wanted to do in that time. Just November and December are really, really big times for YouTube, and I got a lot of stuff I want to do. So the bad news is I'm delaying these reviews a good amount. It might be until January. That's why I'm doing this first impressions video, to kind of give you something early on, but I want to enjoy this game, you know what I mean? I do not want to rush through it for the sake of a review. that would be really awful. So I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry you're gonna have to wait a while. If it's any consolation, if it helps at all, it's a great game. If you like Luigi's Mansion, you're gonna get the game. You already bought the game if you like Luigi's Mansion. You're not waiting to hear what I have to say. It's great. It's gonna be great. Anyway, sorry about that. Hope this helped at all, though. I will see you later. I love you all. I hope you have / had a wonderful Halloween. Have a good day.